just playing us all out like we a bunch of busters. Like me, I make more money than my wife. But here's the thing, though. Outside of that, anybody who's actually married, right, and you're in a healthy marriage, that's functional and successful and going well, right? Me and my wife all together, we've been together for 15 years or 16 years, I think, something like that. Yeah, we've been together for 16 years, right? We not pocket watching each other. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a time when my wife made more money than me, and now I make more money than her, right? But throughout the entirety of our relationship, we ain't never pocket watching one another. Because once you like together like that for real, and when you're married and you have children and stuff, man, all that money going to pot. I don't got no money that belong to me. What you talking about?
You know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to that whole thing, for one, it just seems like men and women have choosing problems as it is. And I think that that's interesting because it reflects the majority of the of the content that you see on YouTube.
So here we are with this Tyler Perry article. Obviously, we all know about the video that dropped, or I should say, just the clip where he said that Black women need to accept less as it pertains to a husband and a mate, right? And you wanted to know what I thought about it, then I'll shoot it back to you. What was crazy about the clip when he said that, and it tripped me out, he was talking and saying, like, if you're a Black woman and you're making all this money, I know it's so hard to find a Black man that's, quote, on your level, and you have to learn to accept less. And then he went on to say, yeah, as long as he's like providing for you in other areas, like, spiritual, mental, all the other, like the psychological ways, and he's just loving on you, then it's okay if he makes less than you, right? And then he goes on to say, and here's the thing that killed me. Now, number one, if you make less than your wife, like, I mean, to me, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it all depends too, right? Because this is how low of a level he had put Black men on in this discussion. He said, if you being a woman, if you're covering the mortgage and the car note and all the utilities, and all he could cover is the light bill, as long as he loves you the way he's supposed to, you should be happy. And I said, wait a minute, all he could cover is the light bill? Like, you playing brothers out like that? Like, what you mean, like, if all he can cover is the light bill? That's not even settling. Like, you gave up on life. If you dealing with a brother where all he could do is pay the light bill, but the way his conversation was and his discussion was and how he was articulating himself, he was speaking like we were all just a bunch of busters. And that's what I didn't like. And that's what kind of irritated me, right?
That's right along with Democrat, with Cousin Pookie and Obama and all that.
Yeah, the way he always bring up Cousin Pookie in every election cycle and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what irritated me, that generalization. Just playing us all out like we a bunch of busters. Like me, I make more money than my wife. But here's the thing, though, outside of that, anybody who's actually married, right, and you're in a healthy marriage, that's functional and successful and going well, right? Me and my wife all together, we've been together for 15 years or 16 years, I think, something like that. Yeah, we've been together for 16 years, right? We not pocket watching each other. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a time when my wife made more money than me, and now I make more money than her, right? But throughout the entirety of our relationship, we ain't never pocket watching one another. Because once you like together like that for real, and when you're married and you have children and stuff, man, all that money going to pot. I don't got no money that belong to me. What you talking about? That's for everybody. That's the whole thing. That go for the bill. That's for the house. That's for everything. That's if you're in a properly functioning like marriage and relationship. If you're not, then I don't know. Maybe you both are pocket watching each other. But I don't pocket watch my wife, right? Now that I make more money than her. And when she was making more money than me, she never pocket watched me. You know what I'm saying? Right. It like that's just crazy to me. But I don't know, man. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Whoever making the most money or whatever, that stuff doesn't really matter. Like as long as you're not actually down bad like that to where all you can do is cover the light bill only. If that's the case, then you shouldn't be in a relationship to begin with if you're a dude. And if you're a female and you're in a relationship with a brother who could only cover the light bill, well, what Torian be saying, I feel nothing. I don't feel bad for you. Why you with him for? All you cover is a light bill. That's goofy. But anyway,
Right.
that's me. That's what I got to say about it. What about you?
My thing is, they need to look at them statistics, because the statistics say that women in general, not just black women, but women in general, choose felons as the majority of their
Oh, you
fathers for
here,
kids.
hold on, top here. Here go Manosphere Rob. Let's go. Let's get it.
I'm just saying. So I mean, if you J paying a dude, you already
Mhm.
chose somebody that's doing less than the light bill for the most part, and that's clearly the preference that a lot of the fairer sex like to choose. You know what I'm saying? Second of all, I don't know where Tyler Perry is coming with this nonsense, because Tyler Perry wouldn't advise his daughter to take this advice. I guarantee you Tyler Perry wouldn't say, well, if you meet somebody that, the only thing they can do is pay the light bill, go ahead and give them a chance. I highly doubt that he would say that.
Mhm,
I highly
mhm.
doubt that he would say that. However, I don't think that the majority of black men only make the amount of money to pay a light bill. This is Tyler Perry and his elitist, delusional, out of touch understanding of what actually goes on, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to middle class black men. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, when I don't think that there's a majority of black women that are just making tons of money more than what black men are making. If you take into consideration celebrities all the way down to the lowest income, I don't think that that's the case. If that was the case, then there wouldn't be all of these complaints like with these pay gaps. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Brittany Griner was in Russia, everybody was blaming the NBA, saying they taking all the money because the pay gap is so big. Well, if these women are making so much money, then why is there these complaints about the pay gap? Like, ain't nobody, like, I'm not trying to deal with like any of the Fox Soul emotional, nonsensical, outside of reality, non-data driven arguments. You know what I'm saying? Like I only deal in terms of actuality. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that if you ask me, I don't think that there's anything wrong with women having standards. As a matter of fact, based on, a lot of people that are chosen to be fathers and chosen to be husbands, if women had higher standards, I don't think that that would be a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And when I say higher standards, I mean, like, people that aren't like somebody that you scrape off of the bottom of the bathroom floor. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't think that this talk right here, this podcast talk that Tyler Perry was having, I don't think that this even applies to like the everyday black person, everyday black man, everyday black woman. I don't think that this applies at all. I think that this is podcast fodder and something that Tyler Perry had a conversation with in order to go viral on social media. And Tyler Perry, as a person in media who just tried to buy BET and is doing all these things, he understands that all you have to do is make inflammatory comments about black people, whether it's about black men, whether it's about black women, whether it's about black people as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And those comments will get attention on what it is that you're doing. I don't even think that this is a real conversation. I mean, seriously, what's actually real about this conversation?
Well, and it's funny you said that too, right? Because let me pull this up right now. This data. And speaking of data, right? This comes from blackdemographics.com, right? So let's get an actual data, like as it pertains to like how much black men and black women are making and how far apart they actually are from one another and so on and so forth. So let's remove us off the screen. Let's make this big so that everybody can see it. And it's going back to what you were saying right now about narratives, right? When you actually like look at the data that's in front of us, are okay by average yearly salary, right? A single black millennial. So we're talking about millennials here. Single black men and women aged 25 to 40. There's 7.6 million, right? In that demographic. We're just going to stay there. When you look at this, you see that as it pertains to under 20K, 20K to 50K, and 50K to 100K, the black women do make more money. But here's my point. It's not by much when you're actually looking at the demographic count, right? So when you're talking about like that high value man kind of status, right? 100K and up, Black men actually out earn black women, but like not by much. You have 90,839 black men that average 100K and up to 80,075 black women. And then when you come to 50K to 100K, black women out earn black men, but it's by like 20,000. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you come to black men and black women who make 20 to 50K, it's 1.3 million black men versus 1.6 million black women. You get what I'm saying? And then when you come to under 20K, it's the same thing. 793,000 black men to 960,000 black women. What's my point? If you let Tyler Perry speak on it, that the dark gray that consists of black men, they would be like all the way at the bottom to where you could barely see it in comparison to black women that would be like way up there. But when you're actually looking at the data, by and large, for the most part, no matter how you slice it and no matter how much money you're making, black men and black women are pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah.
There's just as many black women making however much money a year as there are black men. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to get technical, technically, yes, there's more black women making, they make more money, right? Technically speaking. But when you go by the actual numbers, it's not by much. So when he's talking this stuff about like, if all he can do is afford the light bill, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's foolishness. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're with a dude that all he can do is pay the light bill, well, I got to
That's on
quote
you.
Torian again. That's on you. I feel nothing.
Yeah,
Why did
you
you
did
do
the
that?
same stupid stuff. If we're gonna sit here and drag Jeezy for choosing Jeannie Ma, I'm gonna drag you for choosing some idiot that can only pay a light bill. That's your fault. I don't feel sorry for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure for every dude that can only pay a light bill, there was about 10 dudes who were in that median range that got thrown away. And nobody talks about the throwaway dudes. So,
Mm-hmm.
if nobody has any sympathy for the throwaway dudes, I don't have sympathy for you choosing somebody that turned out to be a a piece of crap under a diamond lining. That's not anybody's problem except for yours. You know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to that whole thing, for one, it just seems like men and women have choosing problems as it is. And I think that that's interesting because it reflects the majority of the of the content that you see on YouTube. I mean, like I hate to say it, man, like I would rather see like other kinds of content on YouTube than just people sitting there talking about relationships and men and women and male female dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, like to me, like I don't know. People say that, like, oh yeah, that's the building blocks of a community and all this nonsense. How long do people have to have these kind of conversations? I mean, Kevin Samuels died how long ago? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, uh, people that have been making these relationship videos, they've been around how long? Before all of
Mm-hmm.
that, divorce court been on TV for how long? I mean, you either get it or you don't. And at this point, as long as stuff has been going on and all this kind of programming has been running, I mean, to me, what it seems like is that people just don't. Okay, so like maybe there needs to be other kinds of means in order for things to be built and created. Like what it seems like people are doing is trying to put a Phillips screwdriver into a standard screw, and it's clearly not turning. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly. Like I said, overall, the majority of these conversations that you hear, specifically like as it pertains to what Tyler Perry was talking about, clearly and obviously, as well as I just showed to you, these conversations aren't rooted in like reality and what's actually
no,
going on at all. It's not rooted in actual facts. And
no.
it's just talking points to get your video to go crazy and to get people to go crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
And
one
that's
month you had an Ebony K, where Ebony K is saying that, she has standards and expectations and she won't date a man that makes less money than her, which, as far as I'm concerned, like, there's a lot of people that are triggered by that. As far as I'm concerned, if that's how she feel, that's how she feel. You know what I'm saying? At least she got some type of standard. Like, at least there is a standard there. You know what I'm saying? Now, people may say that that standard is too high or whatever, whatever, right? Then Tyler Perry will turn around and play off of that and say, well, you need to accept dudes that only make 50 cents a month. Like, it's okay. I mean, if they bringing in something, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's like all these people do is just bounce back and forth off each other, and you get a whole bunch of comments, but really there's never a solution to whatever issue that it is that people are trying to find. And honestly, one of the reasons why you're not going to get any relationship information on YouTube. The place where people get relationship information is what they grow up seeing their mothers and their fathers do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people's choosing behavior is based on what you see your family do. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of
Mhm.
times, you know, if you're a man, you choose a woman that's similar to your mom, that reminds you of your mother in some way, whether it's appearance, whether it's temperament, whether it's attitude, whatever. You know, you see the way that your mother treats your father, and if they have a healthy relationship, or even if they have a toxic relationship. Because when you grow up in a toxic relationship, a lot of times in your adult life, you tend to mimic that toxic relationship too. But people aren't getting their relationship guidance or even anything to model a relationship off of in their homes. Like we're talking about Jeannie Ma and talking about Suki Hana. If you ask me, like one of the reasons why you had this whole problem with these people out of control like this is because they don't have a father. I think that fathers are extremely important for women the same way that they're important for men. You know what I'm saying? Like a father, you know, is the first man that's going to be doing anything, the first kind of person that's going to provide any kind of respect, love, admiration, or protection for a woman. If a woman doesn't have that, she has no kind of model to have a standard of what kind of man to get. And then that's why you see women choosing felons all the time.